Welcome back to the show. Wow. To say we're having technical issues is an understatement, but welcome to the show. As you can see, all of our backgrounds are gone, all the stream yards are gone funny. This is a typical judges and pots show at the moment. I don't know what's happening to us. The IT doesn't like us, Lee. But how are you, mate?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? But like, I think we should tell everybody, like, that Dave's left us at the moment. We don't know what he's doing. He just says he's very, very busy, and he's left us at the moment. But he's left us with nothing, and we're just trying to get through it as best we can, aren't we? Like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Unfortunately, all the logins and all the stuff sits with Dave, and he's gone. So we're trying to do what we can between the pair of us, but it will get sorted, people. It will get sorted. So don't worry. I'm sure you've still got me and Lee. You can still hear us. You'll just have to stare at the duck stream yard and a black screen while we chat football. But Lee, we were both there yesterday. I don't know about you, mate, but I'm absolutely shattered still.
Oh God!
I've not slept all day. I've tried to doze and try to catch up. I can't.
No, it's really weird. Like, what a great day we had. We had a great day, but like, what happened was we met up with Kevin and we went for a couple of beers afterwards, and we took him back to Manchester, and then we got caught up in the old rain and all that, wasn't it? It was like really, dangerous on the way home. Like we had to slow down and all that, so we managed to get in. As people will probably know, or if you don't know, that the motorways seem to close up on a night, don't they? Like, and they take you off into the countryside and all sorts of dodgy roads. And of course, it's absolutely hammering it down, like, And what happened from there was we just had to go down to about 50 mile an hour, 40 mile an hour. Anyway, we got home, didn't we? Like, 2:00. Yours shattered because I've drove that little bit. I'm because Julian took us to halfway or 3/4 of the way, and then we made our own way back. And so I'm still quite awake. So we ended up watching the Arsenal game on Match of the Day, and then we was both top. Well, you was out before I even got up the 5th stair, I think, Dan. Like, you'd gone. So before I got to my bedroom, you was asleep. And then, like, I had to be up early because to do a podcast, and I'm the same as you, Dan. I've had about 4.5 hours kip. And I'm not tired at this moment in time. And it's a bit of I normally have had a doze in the afternoon, but nothing like, So, but worth it, Dan. Come on. It was a great day, wasn't it? Like,
It was incredible, mate.
Long day. Great result. Got the result. I thought there's a little bit of pressure on us because of, the likes of the teams above us at the moment, Manchester City, Liverpool, and then down the road getting the points. So it was a little bit of pressure on us, but we overcome it. Brighton, of course, got a good result, but also, I look at the league table now, and there's a little gap starting to open up between the 4 teams at the top and Brighton. I'm going to put Brighton into that, and away from Manchester United and Chelsea. So at this moment in time, I'm not really looking at Man City. I'm saying, right, let's get as many points as we can until Manchester United sack their manager and get a decent one in, and Chelsea, like, until they spend another billion, then they might be competing with us, like, So it weren't a bad. I'm going to be really honest about it. It all in all, weren't a bad weekend, was it?
I thought it was great, man. I loved it. And listen, I always enjoy an away day, I must say. But for this one, the 90 minutes weren't exactly exhilarating. So it was the rest of the away trip that actually made it. Do you know what I mean? And I think that seeing the people we do now and doing what we do, sometimes you forget what privilege can be, and the people you meet are just fantastic. And these away days, they just get better and better. I go to every away day now, and people come up to me I've never met before that watch me and you and watch what AFTV do and stuff. And it's just a pleasure. All of them are so lovely and so nice, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's just a kind of a compliment to the way the channel has gone now. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think we would have got that as much years ago. There's a lot of negativity attached to AFTV, and 100%. I do think, it has definitely changed in more of a positive light. And, I think there's a lot of people that have made that way. I think James and Cecil and Turkish and some of the other guys have made it that way. But for me, it was a great one. But I wanted to bring up, Lee, the team news, because it seems at the moment that it's one of the biggest kind of suspense, isn't it? It's like, what's this team going to be? No one quite knows at the moment. We haven't played our best 11 yet due to either injuries or suspensions or Mikel rotating. But I did want to bring up Chaitanya's super chat because I think it's a great talking point. So while you find that super chat, I'm going to ask you and the chat this David Raya and Aaron Ramsdale situation. Chaitanya has said, boys, Raya versus Ramsdale. Personally, I'd start Raya, but this calls for a good debate considering our upcoming fixtures. I want to ask you simply, mate, what did you make of the decision to play David Raya? And what does this mean for Aaron Ramsdale? Because what I don't like there, and big up Chaitanya because I love him and he's always great to watch him, is Raya versus Ramsdale. I don't know that it should be Raya versus Ramsdale. I think this is now two goalkeepers that Mikel Arteta has got to try and keep happy throughout a season where we are going, in my opinion, or should be going for all four competitions. So what did you make of it and what do you think this leaves Aaron Ramsdale for the future?
I'm going to be really honest about it. I was shocked by the decision. I honestly thought Raya was going to play Champions League. I did think that, but I think, like, looking at it, I think that Arteta's thought, right, well, I'm going to make a few changes here. I'm going to make one with the goalkeeper as well. And I fully expect on Wednesday when the team sheet comes out, Ramsdale in goal. I'll put a lot of money on it that it is. I'll be very, very surprised if it's not. I think if you look at it, did he drop Havertz yesterday, or is he just leaving him out for the Champions League game? I expect Havertz to be back in, and I expect Ramsdale to be back in. I don't want to hear this all. Burnley have just scored again, by the way, so that's a good result.
No way, 2-1, is it? That's 3 goals in. 2 goals. Sorry. Apparently, Callum Hudson-Odoi scored a brilliant goal. It's just in the chat.
Right. So it's gone to 2-1 now. Like, you know what I mean? So. First half weren't pretty spectacular, was it now? But now it's a sort of, as we've come on here, it's warmed up a bit, Dan, you know what I mean? Like, typical. But yeah, so I don't want to see it as a Ramsdale Raya sort of thing, you know what I mean? I don't like it. I'm going to be, this is my personal opinion, not having a go at fans, I'm not having a go at anybody, that people turn around and go, well, I want Raya in instead of Ramsdale. And my argument is that why? You know what I mean? Because, you know, who was the best goalkeeper in the league last season, according to the Premier League, was Aaron Ramsdale, you know what I mean? And I think that he's never let Arsenal down, you know what I mean? Yes, he's made a couple of mistakes here and there, but I honestly don't think that he's was that a VAR check? Yeah, there's a VAR check going on. So,
is there?
So
this is like Soccer Saturday, isn't it? This is like Jeff Stelling reporting to Chris Kamara.
Yeah, so they've got a VAR check. I don't know, you know, when that VAR check comes up, you know what I mean?
You never know, do you?
It's a lottery, like, you know, so we'll see what happens like from there, like, you know. Let us know in the chat because I can't quite see what's going on. Like, they're looking at it now. Hold on a minute, let's see if I can get it. He's going over to the screen, so it's going to be cancelled. So it's still 1-1. So so I feel that Aaron Ramsdale's done nothing wrong at this moment in time, but I'm going to be honest. I thought that Raya done exceptionally well yesterday. I didn't think he'd done anything wrong. I thought he looked very, very assured. So it's nothing against Raya or anything like that. But I do think that when I look at Ramsdale, I don't think he's done anything wrong. I really don't. Like, you know. No. You know, there seems to be, for instance, you know, Eddie gets lots of time and lots of things go for. I say passes. What's the word I'm looking for? He gets lots of chances, and I don't think Eddie's going to play in the next 2 games. If I'll be honest, it'd be to Jesus, but Jesus didn't come in yesterday. I think at the end of the day, Dan, I did say before the game that there will be changes. The changes that he made. The ones I didn't expect, if I'll be honest, you know what I mean? I looked at it and I thought that maybe out of the back 4, maybe Zinchenko would be left out. Havertz, yeah, but for Vieira, I thought, well, maybe not. And obviously the Eddie one, like, you know, so we've lost Martinelli, which is a big blow. I think we're going to lose him for at least 3 or 4 weeks now. So. But I don't want it to become like this Ramsdale versus Raya thing, like, and this is the problem that I've got. I think it's a worry going forward. I'm going to be really honest. I'm really going to, because you know, Mikel turned around and said, Well, I thought of taking him off and all that, like, and using it as, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, really? Oh, you know what I mean? I know that you want to use it as a player, but
Some weird
goalkeeper,
things he was saying, wasn't it? It was odd,
yeah,
really, what he
yeah,
was
you
saying.
know. So,
It's like
I,
using Fabio Vieira, he said, and it's
yeah, you know, I get what he's
just a
saying to
bit
a certain degree.
it's a bit of an odd way to explain it, though,
Yeah,
wasn't
it
it?
was
Like,
an
you
odd
know, he
way
could
to
have just
explain it,
come out
like,
and said, right, you know, I've got two good goalkeepers. I think David Raya has been really impressive in training. We've got 4 competitions this year, and I felt it was time to give him a go. People would have gone, oh, okay, fair enough. But the way he was saying it, and this is the thing with Mikel, sometimes you scratch your head and think, why didn't he? I know what he's trying to say. Why didn't he just say it? Why do you have to go round the houses to say that? Do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
For me now, I think it's Sunday it comes on it, which I'll be very interested to see who he plays on Sunday. I'll be very, very interested in that. Like, I think that, you know, he's gone a little bit silly. I think at the end of the day, he's looked at it and thought, you know, well, we need to start playing Ray a lot, you know, at some stage. And that's the way I look at it, like, you know. But we had 2 goalkeepers a couple of years ago under you know, when it was Leno and Ramsdale, and I was quite comfortable if one of them was in and one of them wasn't. And I thought that Leno
Yeah,
was a fantastic professional. And last season I was a bit worried, but you know, in saying that, Turner's been playing very, very well for Nottingham Forest. So I think that this could be a problem looking forward to it. Like, you know what I mean? It's really interesting. Like, I was speaking to people today, you know what I mean, and they you know, about the situation. Well, he must have been promised something to have signed Raya. But then I think to myself, well, 6 weeks before we signed Raya, um, you know, Ramsdale was on given a big, massive contract. Surely, when you're talking about that
yeah.
contract, surely, you know, when you're
Sorry, Lee.
talking
Apparently that
about,
goal's been
it
ruled
won't
out,
be
by the way. Just to
say
let you
again.
know. Apparently that goal's been ruled
Yeah,
out
it's ruled out, so it's
stupidly.
still 1-1.
Well,
So,
one of the lads just put in said it's stupid. Apparently it was ruled out, but that's VAR for you.
well, it's VAR for you, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
so I feel it's a real hard one. Like, I don't really know how the fans feel about this. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I want to back Raya because he's Arsenal's goalkeeper and all that. It doesn't sit well with me at the moment if he was to be dropped, because I look at it, it's like saying, well, all right, you're going to drop Martin Odegaard now and bring in Havertz because, you know, like you brought it, but, you know, Havertz has won a Champions League and he knows how to do the champ. I just don't know how it feels really, like, you know, and I get when people say, oh, Ray has a better goalkeeper. Well, you know, for me, as I say, I think Ramsdale, you know, how can I say this without, I don't want to be too harsh on it all, like, but, you know, I watched 2 goalkeepers yesterday. I watched Ramsdale play really well for England. I think he's got a very, very good chance of becoming England's number 1. Really good chance of becoming England's number 1. Because I look at Pickford and I think, like, yes, he's a very, very good shot stopper, but his kicking is nowhere near in the class of, say, a Ramsdale or a Raya. Like, I see it yesterday live. Very, very good shot stopper, but his passing is not at the standard of them 2. Now, if you want to progress and whatever, like, you've got to have this ball playing goalkeeper now, like, you know, which I'm starting to come along to, Dan, you know what I mean? Because, you know, I'm old school, as you know, like, you know. So I think he's got a great chance of getting in the England squad, and it's sort of like going to be taken away from here, like, you know what I mean? So it is a tough one, you know what I mean? Fergus is saying, you know, Ramsdale got us to the Champions League, deserves his chance in that. I do think that he does. And I think that
yeah, I do.
I think that I'm not going to go too big on this. I think Arteta looked at it and he's got 3 games in. He's going to have to make sacrifice. He's going to have to make changes. This is what I said at the beginning of the season, if you remember right. These games, the Evertons, the Bournemouths, teams like that, when we're playing before Champions League, they're the games that I'm concerned about, like, you know, because we will make a few changes to the squad. You know, I expect us to go big against PSV and also against Tottenham. So what I'm saying is, he's played Eddie on Sunday. I bet you the next 2 games Jesus starts. You know what I mean? And I think it'd be with certain other players as well, like, you know. You know, it's got nothing to do with sentiment with Ramsdale. I want what's best for Arsenal, you know what I mean? And as I
Yeah,
said yesterday, and I'll say it now on here as well, Raya was very, very comfortable yesterday. Every time the ball went in for a cross, I was comfortable that he was going to collect it and all that. Like, I like the way he kicked the ball about. I like the way that he distributed it. And at the end of the day, if there were times last season, and I'm not going to lie, when Ramsdale went for an injury, I was panicking. Now I'm not going to be, because we've got two very, very good goalkeepers.
Yeah, listen, I think squad depth is something I wanted to touch on because it's been questioned, and I've questioned it, to be fair. I do think we're still short in a couple of positions. But now when Martinelli goes down and Trossard comes on, it's not a crisis. When Partey's out and we've got Rice, it ain't a crisis. You've just mentioned the goalkeeping situation. There's a couple of positions in the other areas of the team as well where we're like that. I still think Saka, Jesus, Saliba, and probably Rice are the four where I'm thinking, please don't get injured, you four, because the drop-off is huge, in my opinion. But in other positions, it's not. So it's not in every position. What I will say about this goalkeeping situation for me is I'm not worried or concerned about it yet, Lee. I'm not. I think it's a great thing. I think we've got two goalkeepers now, and I wanted that. I want players in every position that I believe we're going to be top quality in, right? And I think we've got that in the goalkeeping positions as well as some of the other positions now. Where I will get a little bit kind of raise concerns, I suppose, is when it doesn't happen in the other positions fairly. Look, you mentioned Eddie, you've mentioned Havertz. We've not seen Smith Rowe and Trossard perhaps as much as we should have at times. And when we did see it yesterday, it obviously worked, which we'll come on to. For me, I think David Raya now will probably be our number one goalkeeper for the Premier League games. And I think he will probably be the goalkeeper for the FA Cup games in January. And I think Ramsdale will take these early domestic cup games in the Carabao Cup, and I think he'll be our Champions League goalkeeper. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm anticipating. I think Ramsdale will play Champions League because he was the one who got us there. I think he'll play Carabao Cup games because normally they share two competitions. And I think that week by week, he's seen David Raya in training and he just thinks, wow. Now, I don't actually think there's as much of a gap as some people are making out. And I think some of the fans, from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing on Twitter, are all sort of saying, oh, he's miles ahead of Ramsdale. It was refreshing and all this. And I'm like, wow, that's harsh. Because for me, his kicking's better than Aaron Ramsdale. But that's pretty much it. I think most of the other attributes that David Raya's got, Aaron Ramsdale also has got. And maybe I've got a little bit of sentimental thing as well. You know, you said it isn't about that. But for me, I don't know, man. I really, personally, really like Aaron Ramsdale and what he's offered for us. And even this season, he's kept us in games, Lee. At Fulham, he kept us in the game. Yeah. At Man United, he kept us in the game. So I don't think this is you're getting out of the team because you're pretty much, second choice, you're bang average now. This guy's coming in because he's much better. I just think there's healthy competition. My big worry and concern is, and everybody said this earlier, was this is not going to be long term. One of them is going to go. I don't know any goalkeepers of that level that stay happy for 4 or 5 years. They want to play. So that's my biggest concern. And lastly, someone mentioned something today, which was really important actually, about David Raya, and said, if David Raya's in training and he says, still not getting in this side, he's waiting for this Carabao Cup for me, isn't he? And now what Arteta's done quite cleverly is he said, actually, no, you're not just me cup keeper. You're going to come in and play as well. So I think my biggest question mark is this is the first time Arteta has tried to keep a squad happy, because we've always had like 12, 13 players previously. And some of them we wanted to get rid of, right? And he has got rid of. For me, I think so far, I don't think we can really complain about Mikel Arteta too much of what he's done here. And I really don't. I think that people might think it's harsh, but I know Ramsdale said, bring it on. So he can't sit there and go, bring it on, and then get the up when he drops him. So for me, every time he puts on the Arsenal shirt, I know he's going to give 110% Aaron Ramsdale, and I expect him to do that. Wouldn't surprise me if he plays in the Champions League, but it also wouldn't surprise me, Lee, if he plays in the North London Derby, and Fergus, Guns and Yellow Ribbons, big up Guns and Yellow Ribbons, by the way, make sure you go subscribe. He says, who starts North London Derby, Raya or Ramsdale, and why? And that for me is a key question.
That is the big question for me, like, you know what I mean? Because I think that, there's a few people in the chat saying that, don't rate Ramsdale and whatever, like, you know what I mean? And I think, like, they weren't saying that last season.
Surely not.
You know what I mean? He made a couple of mistakes, but look at the saves that he made. Look at the Liverpool game. Has anybody, like someone said in there, I don't know who it was, said, oh, he's a clown. He wasn't a clown at Anfield, was he? Like, you know what I mean? Because he was unbelievable that day, like,
I can't believe this, like, what we're getting.
He has made saves, you know what I mean, at very, very important times. And I do think that Ramsdale's done nothing at this moment in time to say to me he deserves to be dropped. So I expect Ramsdale to be in goal for for the game against Spurs. That's how I feel. But I agree with people saying. I don't know. Again, it was in the chat, went a little bit fast, but you know, if you didn't get Raya, for instance, you know what I mean, and say Ramsdale plays and gets injured against PSV, then you got Hein coming against Spurs. Now, what would I rather have, Raya or Hein? I know what I want and what I'm going to go for. So for me, you know, I think that it's nice that we got two good goalkeepers. It's not sustainable like it wasn't with Leno, but for a season going for the Champions League and the title, maybe it ain't a bad thing, Dan. You know what I mean? To have, like, you know, that's so I'm like, and then we assess it at the end of the season, and it's up to the manager and the two goalkeepers to get together and see what we're going to do. So for me, if Ramsdale gets the nod on Tuesday, and if he on Wednesday, if he plays well enough, then he comes in there. I think there is a little thing about it where we've all been a little bit what's the word I'm looking for, brainwashed into saying that we've got to have a top class goalkeeper and a number two goalkeeper that's not very good and experienced or an experienced goalkeeper. That's changing a little bit. If you ever look at City, they've got two very, very good goalkeepers, but Ederson plays all the time. I am at this stage not really worried about it, as I say, like, you know, and you know, it is right in a little way if you think about it, Dan. Why should you have competition with Eddie and Jesus, Martinelli and Trossard, you know, Declan Rice and Partey, if you want to go down that road, Vieira and Havertz, Tomiyasu and whoever at the back, Kivior and Gabriel, all in competition week in, week out, and the goalkeeper have a free pass. So, you know, I do think that it's fair enough, and it's up there. What for me is the interesting thing, and this is what I quite like Arteta about it. Do you know what? Arteta's backing himself to be able to manage in it. So, like, fair play to him, like, and see what happens, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, you know, there's people in the chat said it's up to Arteta to manage it big time. I also agree with what Ferguson said about Ramsdale here in relation to the North London derby. He says, for me, Ramsdale, he gets the club and he gets the game, and that's what a North London derby needs. Look at when Saka and Smith Rowe scored in the previous ones. And I'll also address a comment from Lone Star Londoner, because I don't know what he's listening to here, but he reckons that me and you have complained for so long about depth and quality, and now we have two top-class keepers and one on loan. These two ain't happy. Daft.
No, I'm not saying I'm not happy. I
don't really understand that one, but
I'm saying, but look, listen, how I put it to what was his name? The Londoner or whatever, you know what I mean?
Lone Star Londoner.
How I put it to you now, right? Is okay, right? We've got everybody's fit. We've got Rice and Partey, you know, playing against Spurs. Like, you know, what are you going to do as a person? And you could turn around. Do you know what, Lee? I'm going to play both of them. I'm going to play Partey and Rice. All right, yeah, because they're both bloody good players. You can't do that with a goalkeeper. You can't say you're going to play both of them. That's the difference between a goalkeeper and any other position. You've got two good fullbacks, say like Tomiyasu and Ben White. You can play both of them. You could put Ben White into centre half for a game to give Saliba a break and play, you know, which I think will happen at some stage. I'm not saying it's going to happen in the next two games, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tomiyasu's playing right back and Ben White playing central defence and Saliba left out when we go to either Bournemouth or Lens. I'm just saying. But when you've got the goalkeeping situation, I'll tell you what, you have one, you know, you can turn around and say, there's nothing wrong in this, saying, well, you have one half and you have the other half. That can be done when you've got 5 substitutes. That can be done. I don't think it's the right thing to do, though. But, you know, but you know, sometimes along the line, Trossard, like, you know, didn't come on in the last game, did he? But like, he's come on this game. But you know, you can with a forward or a player, like, you know, say for instance Eddie, you can give Eddie the last 20 minutes of a game. Do you know what I mean? Like when Jesus is a little bit, you can't really do that with a goalkeeper. It's a little bit different. That's what we're saying. So you can keep Thomas Partey and a Declan Rice happy and balance it nicely, because you can play them as together or even leave one out or whatever, or play them, or Or come to think of it, I might play one at right back. Oh, he's done that, like, you know what I mean? Like, to keep it all happy, like, But you can do that. You can't do that with the goalkeepers. That's all we're saying. It's just a different way of managing it. And that's what I'm going to say, like, it's a fantastic it's a fantastic thing to have. All we're saying is it may cause a problem when one or two's not playing. Listen, for me, I'm not worried about that at the moment. I think we played Raya on Sunday. Was there a drop off from the goalkeeping situation? Was we panicking every time the ball went across the goal? No.
Exactly.
So
No, we weren't.
It's great. If Ramsdale comes in, we'll have the same opinion. And if it's whoever plays on the North London derby, we know that they're going to do well. I will say this about Raya yesterday, and look, everybody knows that I'm a big Ramsdale fan for whatever reason and all that. Right? When the ball was going across in his box and all that, I weren't panicking. I have little panics every now and then with Ramsdale. I'm going to be honest. I didn't have that with Raya yesterday. Now, was it because they wasn't really pushing? I don't know. I liked his performance yesterday. I know that he didn't do a lot. What he done very, very well. So I'm going to give credit for him there, like, you know what I mean? And as I say, it's too good. And I'm going to be really honest, like, I don't think he dropped him yesterday. There's a thing called squad rotation. And Ramsdale's part of that, and so will Raya be part of that. Like, I don't think Havertz was dropped yesterday, because I think he may be dropped if Vieira comes in on Wednesday night again. But I've got a feeling that he won't.
Listen, I'm kind of with everything you're saying in relation to this goalkeeping situation. And that brings me nicely onto the squad rotation now. I mean, I've got to say, I'm going to go through the players. I'm going to go through all of them, actually, because I thought they all played pretty well. I didn't think there was anyone who had a shocker, to be honest. And I saw, personally, there was a couple of people a little bit harsh, if I'm honest, with some of the player ratings I saw and some of the opinions I saw from other influencers and podcasters that I listened to after the reaction of the game, that said that they thought Saka was really poor again. Didn't think Ødegaard really did too much but run around. Thought Zinchenko just gave the ball away. And I thought, I know I was at the game live and I was very close, but maybe I was a bit too close then, because I thought all three of them played well, personally. I thought Raya looked comfortable in goal. I thought Ben White has really, for me, just goes under the radar every single game. For me, he's one of the players that I think is most consistent and underrated at the club, Ben White. I really do. And I think what he's doing on the right-hand side there with Saka, Ødegaard and now Declan Rice has been phenomenal for me. I think Saliba, absolute Rolls Royce, mate. I've never seen anything like it in my life. And sometimes I'm close enough at the Emirates, but I was really close to his battle with that Beto and himself. And he just never gave him a sniff, mate. He was just absolutely phenomenal. And Gabriel, I mean, why was he dropped in the first three games? No one understands that one whatsoever. He was absolutely phenomenal alongside Saliba. Both of them were exceptional. And Zinchenko, I understand he gave the ball away sometimes. Do you know why? Because he's on it all the time, mate. He was used all the time. He was on the ball all the game. He was absolutely brilliant, playing in the centre, going in. He hardly ever plays at left back, sometimes over the right more than the left. He was phenomenal. You got Declan Rice, one of the best players on the pitch again. 5 games now running, one of our best Arsenal players. Martin Ødegaard does not stop running, mate. The work rate was outstanding. The touches were the finesse, the flair. I thought he had a good game. I thought he was driving us forward. Martinelli maybe a little bit quiet, got his goal, then got injured. Trossard comes on, and I actually will say it. I thought Trossard and Vieira to start with, it was looking a little bit quieter down the left-hand side than perhaps the right-hand side, and they turned that round in the second half and they contributed, and Trossard gets the goal. Eddie Nketiah, saw Jesus come on, saw Havertz come on, saw Tomiyasu come on. Good subs for me from Arteta yesterday. All of them look to work. And we do look a little bit more dangerous with Jesus up top than Eddie. And hopefully we'll start to see that coming in now. And I will say this lastly about Saka, right? Because I don't think he's had the best starts either, if I'm honest. I think in 5 games, or is it 5 games now? Yeah, that he's played. I don't think he's been phenomenal at any of them. But I'll tell you what he has got, 6 goals and assists. That's what he has got, yeah? His GA is unbelievable for what he's got so far. And he hasn't even been that bad. So, been that good, sorry. So, I don't know, man. I feel personally when Saka isn't having a 10 out of 10, all these neutral fans are going, oh, he's not looking the same player, him, is he? He's not looking the same. They can't wait to get on him. And he's a 21-year-old lad who's still playing well, in my opinion. And just because he isn't the best player on the pitch anymore, people are starting to question it. So that was my thoughts of the players from yesterday, mate. So who
Yeah,
stood out for you, mate? Who stood out for you?
I addressed the Saka one. I thought he played very, very well. I think that Saka has got a problem at this moment in time that everybody is doubling up on him on whatever. There was one time, Dan, he got the ball in the second half. He had 4 players around him. 4 players, you know what I mean? So he's being targeted. I think that the left back come in yesterday and was just told to just go wherever he went with him and just, man mark him and then like double up on him. I see Rashford doing it against Man United, being like playing really very, very deep, trying to, double up on him all the time. So he's got that. It's something that he's going to have to work out his game. Also, they kick lumps out of him and seems to get away with it to a certain degree. He gets fouls given against him, and I do think that he does entice a few of those tackles with the way he plays. That's how he plays. But I think I don't say he was poor yesterday. I thought he'd done really, really well. Surprising that for me, I actually said if you said who would you say is a man of the match, I would have gone Odegaard, but. According to Sky, he only got 6 out of 10, which is incredible. Really.
Yeah, that was harsh.
Really incredible. It just shows you what the pundits actually think of Arsenal. Saliba and Gabriel were immense, but I will say about them, I expected that from both of them because they had a physical battle, nothing really going in behind. So I expect them to defend like that and defend very, very well. I thought Ben White had another steady game. As I say, I think Raya played very, very well. And have a lot to do. I think when you look at it, Dan, I think that's probably 2-3 games now away from home. 2 games we had away from home. Crystal Palace hardly had a shot against us. So we're defending very, very well. And Kevin made a great point yesterday when I said to him, like, I don't think Everton really showed too much going forward and all that. And he said it's very hard when you ain't got the ball. You know what I mean? Like we kept the ball really, really well. I look at Zinchenko and I think sometimes it gives the ball away and all that. And the reason he gives the ball away is because he's looking for that killer pass all the time. He's not like looking to. He doesn't play safe at times, and I think sometimes you have to be like that. You've got to go through the lines. You're going to give the ball away on a few occasions, but when he does get it, like he did on a couple of occasions yesterday, fantastic ball, like you know what I mean. So it's important how they go about that. So I thought he played really, really well. Like Zinchenko, I thought was very, very good. I'm loving what I'm seeing with Declan Rice, by the way. Do you know what he's got?
He was for me man of the match. I thought he was brilliant.
He's all over the place. I think we've got to let like when it comes. I think Partey's got to come back and just let this player just go all over the place. But he stays very, very disciplined to the role yesterday. But he's quick. He's got that little bit more mobility than most midfield players. Do you know what I mean? He nicks in, wins tackles. He drives forward. He's got a good range of passing, and I'm really, really liking what he's doing there. I thought Vieira done very, very well yesterday. Like if it weren't for
he's really come on leaps and bounds this season already, isn't he?
Yeah, I thought the pass. You know what I mean? Like for Martinelli's goal was fantastic. You know what I mean? It was each perfect. It cut inside of the fullback. Whether you think it's a goal or not, I'm still saying I'm not too sure. I don't really know what the rule is. I've seen. Let me tell you this now. I've seen goals given for that sort of reason, and I've seen goals taken away. So. But I thought he played really, really well. Could have had a couple of goals. I like the way he moves the ball quickly, quick turns, and interaction plays with other players was really good. I felt that Eddie probably didn't have one of his better games, if I'll be honest. But I have to say they're two tough central defenders up against him, who I thought played really well. People were saying, "Oh, Eddie, Jesus didn't get no change out of those 2 central defenders, neither. You know what I mean? So I have to say that defensively and as a unit, Everton were well organised and tough to break down. It needed a little bit of magic. We provided that. Fantastic finish, by the way. I didn't realise how good that finish was until I see it on TV again. And that is absolute class. And the reason that Arsenal are now doing these sort of games. A few years ago, we put. I remember that Do you remember we went up there when it was Arteta's first ever game? We weren't actually managing, but he was at a 0-0 bore. But now we've got players that can turn things around. A little bit of magic with the way we opened up and got the goal, and then a fantastic finish. The only criticism with Odegaard, I think, really was I felt that when he got into the position for the goal, it was a good save from Pickford, but he shouldn't have let him have a look at that. He should have smashed that into the top corner a lot from where he was. I thought hitting it straight at him was a little bit poor, but again, lovely into play that opened them up. So listen, and Trossard grew into the game. We lost Martinelli yesterday, and you've got Trossard coming on. That's where we're a little bit better, Dan. You know what I mean? Like, we're not holding our heads going up. Listen, we all want Martinelli available and fit and available. Of course we do. Like, you know what I mean? And I thought that the substitutions were good when they come on. Jesus give us something going into that role there. Tomiyasu just shored things up, made it all nice and easy there. Havertz, what I liked about Havertz, by the way, I don't think he done a lot, but he broke up a little bit. But he had a little bit of that Chelsea in him, like that little, little
bit of shithousery.
Yes, he did. A couple of little fouls that
I quite liked him. Ferguson's saying, "What did you make of the Havertz cameo?" I can't lie. I actually quite liked his.
I like that cameo. Just seen that from Fergus. What did you make of Havertz cameo? I thought he come on, didn't contribute us to winning the game, but made us not lose the game by doing a breaking up play. Had a nice little run and a dink that could have gone in or not. No, I thought all the substitutes contributed. You know what I mean? When you think about it, one scored the goal, the others contributed in keeping us keeping it at 1-0. Listen, good performance. Nothing what you're going to go. We actually said that, didn't we? Like, we ain't going to be buzzing all the way home saying how good Arsenal are. But we was coming home like yesterday, boisterous of what we've gone and done some of the dirty work. You know what I mean? We've done dirty work and got a dirty result, if you like. You know what I mean? Like, and I like that. And I think that. Do you know what? There were times with Arsenal that if Arsenal played they really, really well, they might still lose a game. But if they played bloody bad or whatever, or not quite at their best, they definitely lose the game. Now we've got a little bit of everything, you know what I mean? And I thought that was a good win, some good solid on the back of some good solid defending. I think, like, come on, let's say it as it is. You know what I mean? Like, we've got a good defence now, two centre halves that I wouldn't want to play up against. I wouldn't want to, you ain't going to get much change out of Saliba and Gabriel. Physically, Gabriel loves it. And Saliba, like, picks all the pieces up and everything like that. But when it matters, he can be, competitive as well.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Listen, one thing I do want to mention, obviously you mentioned Trossard's finish. By the way, like you said, I think people probably underestimate how difficult that is. He's got to it that first time. The technique is fantastic. And he reminds me so much of so many ex-Arsenal players. I think you mentioned, did someone mention Lundberg, me, you or Julian?
I said that yesterday. Like, I think he reminds
me. See, for me, it's Alexander Hleb. Alexander Hleb, I look at and I think... Hleb, he looks like he's got both feet, technical ability. You don't quite know if he's right-footed or left-footed. Somebody in the chat earlier was talking about Santi Cazorla. I think that might be a little bit levels, if I'm honest, because I thought Santi was just incredible. But I understand what they're talking about in terms of both using both feet. But great bit of play, Lee, that goal. Great bit of play from all the players. Great from Saka to cut it back. And to hit that first time, and you look at the concentration and the focus on his face there, Trossard, it is sensational. It was a great goal. And I'm really pleased for him, and I said it on my fan cam, because I do think that he did deserve a little bit more of a start in the first few games. I thought he was our best player in pre-season. I also think that when he did come on and start the game against Fulham, everybody was poor, to be fair, but he was one that was poor, and he got hooked at half-time. And that could really ruin your confidence. But one thing I will say about him is he's just got on with it. He's not moaned. He's not really sat there and made a noise about, why am I playing ahead of Havertz, or why am I not getting ahead of Vieira? He's come on yesterday and he's proved that he's a good player, Lee. And that's why I like Trossard. I think he's been a great signing for Arsenal.
He's been fantastic. And listen, he would have been sitting there at the Man United game, and it was getting a little bit tricky. He's seen like Jesus come on. He's seen Vieira come on, and he didn't get on. And we won the game 3-1. But yesterday, and I have to give credit to Arteta for this, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it was because he was looking ahead to Wednesday night, but there were options for him to when Martinelli went down, and the options were you could have gone for the pace of Reece Nelson to sort of combat what Martinelli was giving you down there. He could have actually brought on Jesus and put Jesus out wide there if he wanted to do. He could have brought on Smith Rowe. He could have put Havertz on and put Vieira out wide left if he wanted to, you know what I mean? But what he chose to do was to bring on Trossard, and it worked. So all credit to the manager for that. There was a lot of things there, like, you know, that he could have and didn't done. He chose the right option, and it was the right decision. And the player, you know, made that decision as well, like, you know. So big up to Mikel Arteta for the substitution, and a big up to Trossard for making it work.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Now, listen, I've got to say this. Atmosphere yesterday was sensational from Arsenal. Absolutely brilliant. I thought the away fans were really good. I watched little bits of it on the Super Sunday because I always go back and watch the stuff that perhaps you missed live, and Match of the Day don't always capture it all. And we were so loud the whole time, and I thought it was fantastic. The concourse, as you know, at Everton is tiny. So it's like get in there, try and soak up the atmosphere, but go to your seat because you can't move. But actually, it was so loud and so good in and out of it. I really was so impressed by the Arsenal away boys yet again, who I think have been one of the best fans in England, maybe if not the world, in the last couple of seasons. The way that we've been so loud. Now, I've heard the song for Erdegaard. I'm not going to sit there and lie to you. I'm not going to butcher the words, but it was quite catchy. It's the old darts song. Oi, oi, oi. And it just caught on, and everyone was singing it. It reminded me of last season, the Saliba song at Bournemouth, when I went there, and it literally started at Bournemouth, and it was so loud. Everybody seems to be singing it. Now, Ferguson probably put the lyrics in the chat because I think he knows it, or I think old Capo Dan knows them because he was the one singing them with Trev. But it is a catchy song, and it was one that really took off. And it kind of just boosted that atmosphere, which, to be fair, was already always loud.
Yeah.
The problem is I'm terrible at trying to listen out for the words, and all you can hear is screaming in your ears for it, you know. But it is I
don't know the words to it, like, you know. Someone would let me know the words. It'd be nice, you know what I mean? All I kept singing was oi, oi, oi. And then I was ducking because I thought a dart might be running. But like quality, you know what I mean? The Arsenal fans at home and away have been sensational. And look, listen, the away fans have always been fantastic. You know what I mean? Like going up and down the country. Like, don't forget, like as you well know, you had to change your plans. That game was meant to be on a Saturday, like, you know. And then
absolutely it was.
So a lot of people have had to have changed their plans, done different things. You know what I mean? Like perhaps still stayed in Liverpool on a Saturday night and got home late like we did and all that. Like, but you can't.
I've got him now. One sec. I remember him now because he started me off. So it's so it's in the darts. So it's been dreaming all day about our number 8, Martin Odegaard. Oi, oi, oi. When he's on the ball, he's fucking magical. Martin Odegaard. Oi, oi, oi. Well done, Fergus. You reminded me now. So I didn't know the first bit. I only knew the last bit.
That's quality.
That's quality, isn't it? Quality.
No, I'm still not going to remember it. I'll have to write it down and put it on my hand or something like. But that's
quality, mate. Absolute quality. Well, big up Fergus, by the way. I knew he'd remember him.
Yeah,
it was quality. And that was the thing. I kept trying to listen. You know, when you try and listen so hard, but all you get is people screaming in your ears. And I'm thinking, oh, mate, I can't even slow this down. It's so loud. But it was class. It was.
He's got that. He's got the memory, Fergus, to get that all out. You know, especially 4 points in as well. I'm impressed with him.
Well, listen, he's done well. You know, that's the Irishman in him. Do you know what I mean? He's he can do that. Big up Fergus. What's this from Daniel Super Chat? Sorry to bring you off topic. Have you seen the Hudson-Odoi goal in the Forest Burnley game? Mad strike? No, I haven't. But I tell you what, apparently it's all gone mental at the end again. VAR have sent someone off. It's all gone wrong. They're getting absolutely ripped yet again. Only in my chat. I don't know if that's true on Sky.
Right, we'll have a look like later on. There's another chat as well. This one here, Dan.
Cliff, big up Cliff, says Rambo is definitely going to have the ump. He's been there long enough to see other players be inept and kept being picked, but it's a good problem to have. Do you know what? There was another chat as well. Big up Cliff, by the way. It is a good point, and I'm going to segue onto that point with this from where was it? Here we go. G Weber, who says, "Did Arteta get it wrong? And should Trossard have started ahead of Havertz in the first set of games?" I wanted to ask you this actually, Lee, because it's not really a negative thing. It's just a question and concern that they've got, and I wondered what your thoughts were because we didn't see Trossard ahead of Havertz, we didn't see Partey in the middle, and we didn't see Gabriel at the back. And now we're starting to see a couple of those things. Obviously, Partey's still out injured, but Havertz got rotated. Gabriel's come back in and been solid. Do you think that he'll look at that Arteta and think maybe I got that wrong, or do you think it was just part of squad rotation for the first few games?
I think that it's squad rotation. I think that he tried something different, and you know, as far as I'm concerned, it didn't work. Like, you know what I mean? So, listen, you also have to time that maybe the player wasn't quite at it for whatever reason in training. Well, he's certainly been at it since he's come back into the team. So, you know, maybe it was a kick up the backside that you need. I don't know, Dan. You know what I mean? Like, but I think that, you know, he's had a couple of games off now. Don't forget, he's played a couple of games for Brazil. Maybe Mikel knew that was all coming, so he just give him a little break before the season starts. This is the thing why, you know, you can't go too hard on the manager at times because he's privy to what he's seen in training. I don't know. He might have been not feeling well, or might have had a little knock. We don't know, like, you know what I mean. But at this moment in time, what's happened is, has it cost us points? I don't think so. If I'll be really honest, you know, it was just one of those things on the game against Fulham. But we've won games without him, and we've won games with him. But I tell you what, I don't think we'd have won yesterday without him at times. You know what I mean? I thought he was immense. And that's how it goes there. Just one thing about songs, and Fergus may be able to answer this like that. What is the Mikel Arteta song now like? You know what I mean? Because it's not Tierney at the back no more. And I heard fans, or I think I heard fans, saying Tierney at the back. Well, that can't be singing that now. Is it Gabby at the back and Gabby in attack? That's what I thought I heard. So please.
I don't sing it, as you know, so I won't know the words. But yeah, it's still Tierney at the back around me yesterday.
Come on, that's got to change.
Well, I mean, it has to change, but that's what people are singing, and they're still singing on their way to Champions League, which I don't want to. We're already in that. Let's go for the Premier League.
Yeah,
win the Champions League. Win the Champions League.
I actually sung, you know, Arsenal on their way to win the league is what I sing.
Yeah, that's what I think we should sing, and we got to change it. Maybe Gabriel. Oh, I think it's
Zinni at the back.
Gabby in attack. There we go.
Cheers, Fergus. Zinni at the back. So I like that.
If in doubt, just say Gabby. Do you know what I mean? Because we've got loads of them. Just say Gabby in the back, Gabby in attack, Gabby in midfield. You know what I mean?
So it is Zinni at the back, Gabby in attack. Like, I quite like that. And,
that sounds better, actually, to be fair, Zinni.
Yeah, and I like the Saka song because at the end of it says, you know, Arsenal on the way to win the Premier League or something like that, doesn't it? Like, you know what I mean? So I'm going to win the.
I don't know the words. Can't keep up with that Saka one. Saka and the wing, Saka, and then it says someone else.
Running up the wing, Saka. I'm lost by then, like, you know what I mean?
I can get that bit right, but I don't know what the rest of it is. And it's like the Trossard one, Leandro Trossard one.
And then the Smith Rowe. I messed up, like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, Saka and Smith Rowe is better, to be fair. Like the Trossard one,
he ain't playing at the moment.
5 hours,
once he gets back in the team, hopefully that one will get sung again. But he's not in the team, so
that is a worry. That is a worry for me as well, Smith Rowe, and he needs to get back into it. Listen, before we come to a close, I wanted to touch on Vieira because I do think, although you said, you know, he deserved credit, he was kind of the topic of my fan cam yesterday because I like it when players or football men prove people wrong, and I think that he's done that the first few games. You know, I've doubted him. A lot of people I know have doubted him. Is this guy going to be good enough for Arsenal? Is he going to suit this league? Blah blah blah. Personally, I don't think there's any Arsenal fan that can sit there in the first few games of this season, I know it's only 5 games, and say that he ain't played well. If you're saying that, then you clearly don't like the player and you've just got an agenda for it. Because I personally feel like not only has he contributed, but now he's started, which I always doubted. I thought, don't start him because he's actually doing well in impacting off the bench. I thought he was good yesterday, man. I think what I'm seeing now from Vieira is a little bit of confidence, and I'm seeing not just confidence from himself. I'm seeing the other players around him pass the ball with confidence. Sometimes where you get a player who needs a little bit of time and his confidence is knocked, what you don't want to do is make that player have the ball all the time and put him in the firing line, so to speak. I think Fabio Vieira has proven that when he's come on, he's contributed. And when he starts now, he can actually make something happen. And I thought he was creative. I thought he was good on the ball. He put some good crosses. Yeah, he got it wrong when he shot. I don't think he should have shot a couple of times that he did, to be fair. But I think this player deserves a little bit of credit, Lee, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and I think that, do you know what I see yesterday? I felt I see a player that felt that he belongs in the team. He feels like there's a place for him in the team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt maybe at the other times he's thinking, I'm not in it, but I looked at him yesterday. Even when he had a shot in the first half that went over the bar, didn't lose confidence from it, and I just felt that he's just growing into it. And I'll tell you what was a really nice thing towards the end of the game when they were singing his name when he was doing the corner. He had a corner and he just give it a little clap and all that, and the appreciation of the support that he's probably had going through the rough time as well, and I think that was
Of course.
a real poignant moment for me, but the fans have backed him. Now, listen, I'm going to be really honest, they've backed him because of the name. It's a fantastic chant that we used to sing with Vieira. It's a great chant now. But, the fans have kept faith in him. And I think it was just a little bit of appreciation that we've kept backing him. And I think there's a player. I've always said there's a player in him, but I think you said that as well, but you just didn't think he was going to make it in the Premier League. You know what I mean? And, not strong enough and all that, But he's starting to do it now. He's starting to prove it. And, yeah, it's fantastic, and I think it's great that. And this is what I like about you, Dan. You might not be confident that he's going to be a great player, but as soon as he starts playing well, fantastic. You're pleased, and you say, "I'm glad he's made me change in my mind," and that's what I like. That's what we want to see, isn't it? And I'm not. It's the same with Kai Havertz. I'm desperate for him to do really, really well,
Same.
and because it will benefit Arsenal. And I tell you what. Vieira playing well at this moment in time is benefiting Arsenal, and that's what matters. And he's doing well.
Yeah, he is, man. He deserves credit. Listen, to close, we're going to talk a little bit about it in more detail later on in the week, I'm sure. But I do want to get a little bit of a prediction going into this PSV game. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll ask you two questions. Give me a rough idea of what you think the team will be, and then give me your score prediction, Lee. What are you going to go for? Team prediction, team news prediction, should I say, and score line prediction. There we go.
Well, I'm looking forward to the game first and foremost. So I'm really looking forward to this game now. Got that Everton game out of the way, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping there'll be Heineken beer on sale. You know what I mean? Instead of that Ross and Hell's crap, it's because they're sponsored by Heineken. So I'm hoping for a Heineken instead of that crap. Anyway, that's another matter. Looking forward to Champions League music. I'm going to go for Ramsdale in goal, Ben White at right back, Saliba and Gabriel Shinchenko. Midfield, I'm going to go with Rice, Havertz and Odegaard. And up front, I'm going for Saka, Trossard and Jesus. That's what I think he'll play anyway. And I think Arsenal will win it 2-0.
Interesting. So I agree with you the scoreline. I'm going to go 2-0 to the Arsenal. I do think it's brave keeping a clean sheet or predicting a clean sheet at the Emirates. It just seems
very much so.
Seems silly to do, but I'm going to go for it because it's not Premier League. So I'm going to go for that. Team news. Ramsdale will play in goal, I think. I think Tomiyasu might come in at the back.
All right.
I don't know if he'll play him left back or right back. So I'm going to say that he'll come in and play him at left back, Ben White right back, and I think he'll play Saliba and Gabriel. I still think he'll keep them two. I think he'll play Declan Rice because I think Declan Rice will be his Granit Xhaka who just plays in all the games because touchwood, he's pretty good with his fitness. I think Havertz will play 100%. And I also think Fabio Vieira will play. I think he'll rest Odegaard with this one. That's what I think. Ooh. And then I think he'll go Saka, Trossard, because Saka always plays, Trossard and Jesus up top. That's what I think he'll do. Could be wrong, but sometimes it's how you finish the game, not always how you start them. And I think these Champions League group stages, we'll start to see how we finish games. And I think we'll finish games with the likes of Odegaard, coming on, and not all the time. Might see Jorginho in this one. Might see some of those players. Kivior, you know what I mean? Might see some of these players. So Let's see. I don't think he'll make wholesale changes. I don't think we'll see Nelson, Smith Rowe, Vieira, Havertz as a 4 starting, Jorginho in the midfield. I don't think he'll make too many. I think he'll maybe make 3, maybe 4 tops. But some of those are coming back from injury league because Jesus is a starter anyway, So it's a change, but it's a starter, if you get me.
Yeah. I think they'll make changes. There will be some sort of changes. And at
Because
the end of the
we've
day,
got to look at the North London derby, haven't we, as well?
yeah,
You
of
know
course
what
we
I
have.
mean?
And that's why it's a 16-man game now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that, listen, I wouldn't be against, I'm going to be really honest, I wouldn't be against like Rice, Jorginho and Havertz starting and Odegaard being on the bench, being ready for the North London derby. I wouldn't be against that, Dan. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
and this is what we're going to have to get used to a little bit now. That
I think we've got a good enough squad so at the moment to get through PSV with a couple of our changes out. Do you know what I mean? And this is the thing. What Mikel's got to decide is, do I play my best 11 against PSV and take 5 of my top players off ready for Sunday once the game's won? Or do I start with a mix and rotation?
That's the problems he's got.
That's what he's got to decide.
And whatever he does, you know what I mean? If he gets it right, everybody's going to criticise, say he's right. If he criticism he's wrong, that's something that you have to accept. For me, I think that, there was a little bit of rotation on Sunday. There'll be a little bit of rotation for this one. And then I think that if everybody's fit and available, he'll go for what he's got, which will be his best team on Sunday. So that's how I see it. Like, I don't see Emil Smith Rowe playing from the start, but I do see him now with Martinelli being out. It means if Trossard or Saka that need to have a little break, he'll be coming on, as the next one. Now I see Smith Rowe maybe playing in this game and Trossard not. I don't know, but I think Trossard deserves to start. Whatever happens, no one's being dropped or left out at this moment in time. It will be like to get the job done on Wednesday, when also making sure that some players are fresh for Sunday. That's how it's going to be for these next few games, and that's why like Everton, Bournemouth, Sheffield United, I think is another team we've got. Like, they're the games that we'll rotate and make sure that players get rested. Obviously Brentford as well. Like next Wednesday, I don't expect to see Rice playing in that game for sure.
Facts, man. Let's see what happens. It's going to be a good one. I'll tell you one thing I did miss. I am actually going to sit there and record. This sounds so sad. I never thought I'd ever say this. I'm going to sit there and record that music because I've missed it for so long now. 7 years it's been. I'm going to be there. My mum and dad are away, so they're not going to be with me. So I'm going to sit there and I'm just going to embrace it. I'm going to get there early, stand there and go, I remember coming to games and thinking, oh, Quarterback in the Champions League. I don't know if I'll bother going to that one, really. It's going to be a good game. Now I'm going to all of them, mate, because Champions League for me is where it's at, mate. And I'll never, ever not go to those sort of goals. Not consider
Champions League football at the
again, mate. That's what it's all
Bring
about.
It on. Bring
the only team in London, aren't we, playing Champions League football? There we go.
Only place you can watch the Champions League in London, in the south. In the south of London, the whole of the South London is at the Emirates Stadium.
There we go, man. There we go, man. There we go. Fergus made a good point there. Champions League music, is that going to be followed by North London forever or the other way around? I have to see.
You know what, Fergus? We're going to find out on Wednesday.
Listen, people, do us a favour. Listen, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. The chat has been lit as ever. Interaction's been great. Make sure you do us a favour and smash a like on this video. And subscribe if you're new. We will be back with all of our other StreamYard stuff. We haven't been able to put graphics up or anything today because something's gone down because Dave, I don't know what Dave has done. Dave has left and something's gone wrong. So we'll be back with our normal graphics. Lee's going to see us out. Before he does, make sure you go and support the channel, like and subscribe. And if you can come over to myself as well over at Football's 12th Man and smash a sub on there. We're literally like hitting 12k any minute, hopefully. That is what we need. Make sure you go over to Guns and Yellow Ribbons and do the same thing and support Fergus and the crew over there. And then I'll hand you over to Lee.
Yes, definitely do that because like Fergus and Trev and all the guys over there, top guys, and they like a beer. See you later on.